Shalom. Peace. It's your brother Kabar. As always, this is Intelligent Hebrew. Today's lesson is Description of Israel. Simple and plain. It's going to go into the Making It Plain playlist because all I'm doing is making it plain what the scriptures say these people look like. Let's go to Acts chapter 21. Start at verse 37. I should be prepared. I had it prepared. I don't know what happened. This is the book of Acts 20, the book of Acts, chapter 21, starting at verse 37. And as Paul is the person who wrote a lot of the New Testament, right? And as Paul was, he said unto the chief captain, so he said unto the guard or the police officer that was leading him into the castle, he said, may I speak unto thee? Who said, so the guard hears Paul talking to him. He said, canst thou speak Greek? So this white man is talking to this brother, and he's like, man, you can speak the same language. You speak Greek, man. I didn't know that. And he says, verse 38, he says, art not that thou Egyptian, which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? So he's the guard thinks Paul is right. And we already know, if you don't know, ancient Egyptians were black people, man. Simple and plain, you guys. This is what a black Egyptian today looks like, right? This is what they look like today. Look at that, brother. That's a brother. If you don't know that, if that's not a brother, I don't know what's wrong with you, right? Look at this sister right here, y'all. Look at that sister. That's an Egyptian today. So Paul was mistaken for. They didn't know. They was like, ain't you an Egyptian? Right? You speak Greek. Ain't you that Egyptian right here not too long ago? Verse 39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew. So Paul is telling you that he's of the kingdom of Judah, of Tarsus. So he of a particular place, right? A city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city. And I beseech thee to the people. Now watch this, y'all. When he had given him license to speak to him, Paul stood on the stairs and beckoned with his hand unto the people. So he was like, hey, y'all, listen up. And when there was made a great silence, he spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying, and then it goes further from there, right? But I'm just bringing this out to show you that he looked like those people I showed you in the picture. Those are Egyptian. Those are the true Egyptians of the land. Egyptians are not those European mixed Arabs that are the original Egyptians. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to offend y'all and tell y'all that y'all not Egyptian, y'all won't, but y'all not the ancient Egyptians, right? The Egyptian biblical day, y'all are not them. Let's move on. I'm not spending a lot of time on the Egyptians. I'm dealing with the children of Israel today. So let's go to the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30. The book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30. A whole lot of time because these scriptures are very simple and plain and basic, right? That's why we put it in the Make It Plain playlist. Job 30, verse 30 says, my skin is black upon me and my bones are burnt with heat. What do you mean your skin is black upon you? They say they have black skin, right? And but do you think them people over there, Jews or Jewish, can say they have black skin? Let's just be serious, man. Let's be honest. How about that? Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest, you guys. Can they say they have black skin? Is she not even like super black all like that, right? Her skin is black upon her. As beautiful as she is, her skin is black, right? Let's get it. Lamentations chapter. Let's see what Jeremiah wrote. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 8. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin covereth their, it is come, it has become like a stick. So it's talking about during a famine, right? It's talking about when they don't really have no food. But let's look up the word visage or visage. Visage, a person's face. So visage is someone's face, right? So it says his face is black as coal, right? That should be, man, we know what coal looks like. We all been to a barbecue and had to get the charcoal, right? It says black as coal. Let's move on. All right, stay in Lamentations. Let's go to chapter 5, verse 10. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 10. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 10 says, our skin was black like an oven and terrible because of the terrible famine. So their skin got black because of terrible famine. They didn't have any food, so they got sick. So their skin looked even worse. We're not talking about the skin color, it's talking about the quality of skin. But when it's talking about the black like an oven, it's telling you that the skin is black. Man, look inside the oven. Oven is black, man. There's no denying it. Especially if you look at, they cooked in cast iron and stuff like that. Go look at a cast iron, because that's their ovens were inside the ground, and so it had to be something to that effect. But anytime you cook inside of anything, it gets, that's what it's saying. Black like unto an oven, right? Let's get this one too, man. Let's get Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. This is the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. She's saying, because I've tanned, I got darker being in that sun. The sun looked on me. Right? My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keepers of the vineyards, but my own vineyards have I not kept. Let's get into that, right? Let's look into some of that. It says, as the tents of Kedar. Try to see this, man. This is a tent of Kedar. It's saying the blackness of that tent, right? This is a tent of Kedar. It's saying she's black like that, but she's black and comely. What does comely mean? If y'all don't know, y'all know, Brother Gawar gonna look it up. Comely. Comely means pretty or attractive. So she's saying she's black and beautiful, right? That's what she's saying. Black and beautiful, black and pretty, black and attractive. We know this. We've been saying it since the biblical days. Black and beautiful, just like them sisters I pulled up earlier when I was showing the Egyptians, or their skin is black upon them, right? Black. These people are not a Europeanoid people. They don't leave. They just don't fit it, right? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 8. Ezekiel chapter 8. Let's go to verse 2. The book of Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 2. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire from the appearance of his loins, even downward. Fire from his loins, even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber. Let's read on. Then I beheld, verse 3, and he put forth from him of an hand, and took me by a lock of mine head, and the spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the vision of God to Jerusalem, to the door that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. So Ezekiel here sees he begins to focus and he's seeing God, right? What? The Spirit of the Most High lifted him up by the lock of his head. Talking about right now. We're gonna get further into it. Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 6. Number 6. Start at verse 1. This is the book of Numbers 6, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine, vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor or grapes, or eat moist grapes, or dried. You can't, at this time, this is considered a Nazarite vow. And so they were serious. They learned this. They studied the law. They studied the statutes. They studied the commandments. They studied the judgments. They were almost like an elite Levite, or almost like an elite part of the priesthood, right? And so they kept themselves sober all the time. They kept themselves sober and clean all the time. Let's drop down to verse 5. He says, all the days of this vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled in which he separated himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy, and let the locks of the hair of his head grow. Come on, you guys. He's not cutting his hair. He's letting the locks grow, right? We know what we're talking about. You already know where I'm going with this. Go to verse 5. Go to verse 8. All the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Lord. So when he's letting his locks grow, right? Come on, you guys. Let's not play the game. If I said, hey, this dude at the store robbed me, he has some locks, the first thing you're not gonna think of a Jewish dude with the curly things. You're gonna think of a Rastafarian. Let's be honest, you guys. You're gonna think of this brother right here. Right? Let's be honest, you guys. If I said that dude with those locks, you're not thinking of nobody else. You're not thinking of what we see and call Jewish today. What you're thinking of is him right here. Right? Y'all see the locks on there? These are locks. Locks was what Israelites did. Guess what? Even Africans had locks. It's something that we did. It was part of our description. They're just telling you what we look like. Dark locks, right? And in some cases, braids. So when you see brothers with cornrows and stuff like that, and I know they try to act like that they just started doing it now, but we've been doing that for years, man. I remember seeing my mom and them braid their hair up, and when they was in between hairstyles, or they put their little rag over it or whatever it is. I remember getting my hair braided as a boy. So it's always been that way. We've always gotten braids. We've always gotten locks. This is what we look like, even at times, right? Let's get it, man. Let's go to Revelation chapter 1, and let's start at verse 1. Revelation 1, verse 1. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. The word revelation, the root word to revelation is the word reveal. So it means the revealing or the showing of Jesus Christ, right? Let's jump over. Of course, you already know. Let's jump over to verse 14. Matter of fact, we're going to start at verse 13. Revelations 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the one like unto the Son of Man. That's one of the of Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, or Jesus Christ, right? Clothed with a garment down to the foot and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. They're just talking about what he was wearing right now. Verse 14 is kind of what I want you to see. He said, his head and his hair like wool. Now, I had a person who I was kind of close to. He was like, yeah, well, that doesn't really say his hair was like wool. It's saying white like wool. So he's assuming that he's implying, that white is a texture. White like wool, right? But he said his hair. He's talking about the hair. When he says his head, he's talking about his face, his facial hair in his head. All the hair on his head and his face was white and woolly. It's what it's saying, right? His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. He had a powerful voice, right? Let's see if we can find that. Brass burned in a furnace, you guys. All right. It's so funny because I look it right up and this is what you find, right? I don't know if y'all can. But that bottom one right there, that's brass burned in the furnace. And look at this hair. That's wool. That's a lamb. That's wool's hair. That's the texture, right? Just want y'all to see that. Let me see if I can find something else for y'all. Because this is, watch this, you guys. This is perfect. It said this is fine brass burned in a furnace. Look at how brown that is, man. This is what they saying. Yahweh Shai, or your Jesus Christ. This is what they saying he looked like. Burned in a furnace. That's probably not a good picture, but and one of these days I'm gonna redo this lesson and I'm gonna have actual visuals that y'all can see. But this is brass burned in the furnace. This is what he's saying he was looking like. And what we're not paying attention to in these instances is he looks like one of us. If you pay attention, look, it's a brother's hand holding a brass bar, you guys. And if you pay attention, they're the same color. They are the same color, you guys. So this is what Christ looked like. Brass burned in a furnace, right? Look, the head of his hairs and the head on his face, the hairs on his face and the hair on his head are white, like they're woolly, and the color is the same, right? So let's just not play the games, man, right? Let's read it again. His head and his hairs were white like wool, and as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Man, I don't even know why people even try to deny this. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, man. Daniel 7, and let's go to verse 9. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the days, and the Ancient of Days did sit. So, of course, we understand the Ancient of Days is the Most High God. Ain't no question about it. Thrones cast down break down to mean that when they see God. That's what it is. Kings of the earth. So it says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. So that's God sitting on his throne, whose garment was white as snow, and his and the hair of pure wool. So just what he's talking about in Revelation, so you're not confused. He's not talking about the color of it. He's talking about the texture of it. Right? Look at this. I type in pops up. Does that look like the hair that the so-called Jewish people have today? Right? Let's just be for real, you guys. I mean, sheesh. Y'all see what it's showing? Hell no, huh? That's cotton. Look at this. And this is what I'm saying. There's no way around this right here, you guys. You looking up pure wool. Well, you can't even see that right there. There's no way around it, you guys. No way around it. It is not talking about what you think you see when you see Jewish people. Okay, it's talking about some nappy hair, man. So-called black people, we talk about each other hair any other time, but then when we hear the scriptures say that Christ or the Most High God, they don't want to hear that. Well, this is the fact. I'm trying to give y'all some visuals best I can with my phone, but I think y'all getting it, man. So we understand that's Daniel 7 and 9, right? So we understand that he had hair of pure wool, the ancient of days. That's the Most High. So Christ had it, and the Most High had it, right? Let's go to Leviticus 13, because I know a lot of Bible is the white man's book. I know some white people like to say the curse of Ham. This is or have melanated. Let's see if I can find that for y'all. And really, it was just something that was made for to justify slavery, man, because the scripture don't say Ham was cursed, right? Let's see. So by some Christians and Muslim, an explanation for black skin as well as a justification for enslavement of black people. Boom. And that's in what is this? That's Wikipedia. And I know you can always add away from Wikipedia, but it's not something I made up. You can go look up the Mormon, it's a Mormon cartoon to the children, I'm assuming, and explaining the doctrine to them. And that's pretty much what they said in there. You guys look it up. It's on YouTube. But let's go to Leviticus, the book of Leviticus, chapter 13 and verse 38. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 38. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh, so on your skin, right, a bright spot, even white bright spot. So if your skin is turning white, you don't have this tan. I know I'm not the see it, y'all see this, y'all see it on there. Don't play, right? But for you, milk chocolate and you dark chocolate and you black and you blue black and you blurple brothers and sisters, man. Look, y'all get it. Y'all understand what I'm saying right now, right? Because if you had that white skin, what it says, then the priest shall look and behold, if the bright spot in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth, and the spot is clean. So if it's like a scab, you know how your scab is kind of spotted, right? But then he'll be clean. So that's how you know that person will be clean, right? But he's going into it. Let's go further. And if there be, no, I don't want that one. Then, yeah, I do. And that's verse 42. And then head, a bald forehead, a white red sore, it is a leprosy sprung up. So it's just showing you that this white skin, something about it is off. And really, all of Leviticus 13 goes into this. But I'm looking for a particular scripture. I don't want to waste too much time. It says, but verse 13, Leviticus 13 and 13, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all unclean, and it is all turned white, he is clean. That's the one I'm looking for. See? So white skin in itself was leprous. It was leprous. It was a sickness. Something was wrong. Verse 10, Leviticus 13 and 10, and the priest shall hold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, there be a quick raw flesh in the rising. It is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut he break out abroad the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague, from his head even to his foot, who wheresoever the priest looketh. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the lepers have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean. It is turned white. He is clean. So it's just telling you right there that the white skin is leprosy. White skin is leprosy. That's so even they had the unclean lepers and they had the clean lepers, and the unclean leper was white skin, like, oh my God. And the unclean leper would be like, maybe, see, we got to understand these things. Man, it's not the Bible is not the white man's book. Let's go to Leviticus 13 and stay in 13. Let's go to Leviticus 13 and 30. Sorry, y'all, I'm answering questions at the same time, man. Leviticus chapter 13 and 30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in the sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scald, a leprosy upon the head, or a yellow thin hair, you guys. That's called blonde hair. Simple and plain. White skin and blonde hair is form. This can't be the white man's book. You know he ain't finna write nothing like that about himself. His white skin is leprosy. His blonde hair is leprosy. But we just read where the Israelites had locks, where they had black skin. You ain't even reading the scripture where it says ruddy. Ruddy means like light skin, right? Let me see. Ruddy. It says having a healthy red color, right? Let's see. Now let me show you. Look at these little boys. This is ruddy. Look what it says. Ruddy. It says it right there in the underneath right here. Ruddy. Malcolm X will be considered. We are ready. Today we call that what in the black community? Red bones. Yellow bones. This is why over and over again you see where the Most High is telling us that we are His people, His children, are representative of Him. Let me see. Red. There you go. So when you see a red heifer, that's a big deal in the scripture, right? I ain't gonna get into it, but that don't look white. It look like a light brown, or, right? Or a deep reddish brown, like a cinnamonish color. But my point in that is that we are the people that this Bible is talking about. If I said there was a brother who had black skin with locks, you would say, "Oh, I know exactly who that is." If you said, "Oh, he was a kind of like a light skinned brother with this woolly hair," you would think, "Oh, you know what you would think?" Watch this. Look who you would think. That's Malcolm X, right? Watch this. It's Malcolm when he was young. Or you can look one of my other favorite people, Huey Newton, right? Light skin, yellow bone, red bone with a little afro on him, right? So just understand that when we read, it ain't talking about nobody else. You ain't gotta. Huey Newton, man. So the scripture always talking about us. We are those people. I know it was a short lesson. It didn't even need a lot, man. A couple of more scriptures and then I'm out though. Of course, I pray that this plant the seed or tilled the ground or watered the grass, man. But of course, the Most High gives all the increase. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9. The book of Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye and assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. So we are that speckled bird. And when I looked up this word, when I looked up speckled bird, I just want y'all to see what a speckled bird looks like. It's many shades of brown, light brown to a dark brown. A bird of a couple of different colors. But brown nonetheless. I'm sorry, y'all. Look at that beautiful bird the Most High created. That's a speckled bird. Light brown, dark brown. And I know that in the picture it probably looks white, but the whiteness is actually like a tan. Trying to get close enough for y'all to see it. So I need for you guys to understand that the Most High, according to Jeremiah 12 and 9, we're like a speckled bird. We're not just blue black. We're not just dark brown. Some of us are light brown. Some of us red bones and yellow bones. That's kind of why we the salt of the earth. I don't have too many more scriptures I want to give. So that concludes my lesson today. As I said before, I hope that this plant the seed or till the ground or water the plant, the Most High gives the increase though. And as always, may the Most High get all praise, all glory, all the love, all the shine, and none for myself. I'm Brother Gabar, and this is Intelligent Hebrew. With that, Shalom. Peace.